back at Brigham Young University, but he wasn't exactly the All-American boy during 7 seasons riding high with the Chicago Bears. McMahon was always brash and often brilliant, sometimes impudent and always explosive. He was a winner. He led the Bears to a Super Bowl championship. McMahon spent last season in obscurity with the Philadelphia Eagles. But when Randall Cunningham went down in the first game this year, McMahon took over. Now he even runs a little like Randall. And for the first time in his career, McMahon is completing more than 60% of his passes. Reports of his football demise were obviously exaggerated. I'm Dick Schapp, and Jim McMahon of the Philadelphia Eagles is my guest tonight. If you'd like to talk to Jim McMahon, call us at 1-800-831-ESPN. That's 1-800-831-ESPN. Jim, thank you for joining us tonight. At the start of this season, you were 32 years old. You'd thrown only 12 passes all last season. You were playing behind a Pro Bowl quarterback who had started 58 straight games, and you were, as hard as it is to imagine, almost invisible. How frustrating was that?
Well, Dick, it was a lot like my redshirt year in college. That's the way I approached it, and that's the way I looked at it. You know, I was always ready. I knew the game plan if anything would have happened to Randall. But like you said, he started a lot of ball games, and unfortunately this year, you know, it all caught up with him, his style of play.
When he went down in that first game, what was your immediate thought?
Well, my immediate thought was just to go over and warm up. You know, I've seen him go down before and take his time getting up, and he always did get up. So, you know, I just rushed over and got a ball and started throwing. But, you know, after a while, I looked out there, and he still wasn't getting up. So I didn't know how serious it was at the time, but I knew I would be in the game. You know, I didn't know for how long, though.
You've been in for quite a bit. You've completed, as I said, more than 60% of your passes. You've got a chance for 2,400 yards for the first time in your career. You've won 3 games in a row. Are you, as the statistics seem to indicate, better than ever?
Well, I think it's a lot has to do with our offensive philosophy. You know, in Chicago, we were basically a running football team, and we did a lot of play-action pass and stuff like that. Here, I have an opportunity to throw the ball. It's more of a timing offense. There's a lot of different outlets, and I can get rid of the football, read the defense as quick as I can and get rid of it. And that's what I was used to in college.
When Randall went down, a lot of people, you know, wrote the Eagles off, said that's it for them this season. Did that inspire you? Did you want to show them?
Well, I think the whole football team realized that, you know, you can't win with just one person. Randall's a great player, there's no question about that, but you need 45 people to win football games. And, you know, we got a strong defense, and that's been the nucleus of this team for a long time. And offensively, we just had to put it together and start doing things the way the coaches wanted us to, because I'm not going to be able to improvise like Randall Cunningham. You know, nobody's got that ability to avoid rushes and make big plays the way he did. But, you know, my job is just to get rid of the football as quickly as I can, avoid sacks, avoid turnovers, and just, you know, move the offense and keep the ball out of the other guy's hands.
The special ability that you seem to have is an ability to inspire guys to play as well as they can, to be a leader, to be a winner. Why does that happen? Do you have any theories? Why do they play so good for you?
Well, I don't know. I think, you know, I play as hard as I can on every play, and I think that sometimes rubs off on people. You know, I can't accept myself when I play bad. You know, I step up and say, hey, I was lousy like I was yesterday. But luckily, I have a supporting cast around me that has been playing real well, and that's on the defensive side of the ball. And on offense, our offensive line is doing a heck of a lot better, and our receivers are coming up with big plays.
I mean, if they had to put one part of you into the Hall of Fame, would it be your arm or your head or your heart?
Well, I don't think any of those things are going to last. I know my head and my heart will, but the rest of me, I don't know where they're going to put it.
You said you played lousy yesterday. All week, you didn't take a snap. Your elbow is bad. Your knee is bad. Is it true that you had to have your backup quarterback put your deodorant on for you?
Yeah, it was. That was a little embarrassing just to even have to ask the guy. You know, he's a rookie, and I guess that's what you make rookies do. But I couldn't reach my left pit there last week, and he helped me out a little bit.
I can see him calling home and saying, guess what I did today? We'll take a break now. When we come back, we will talk some more with Jim McMahon of the Philadelphia Eagles.
SchaapTalk is brought to you by Bud Dry. Dry brewed so it drinks light, yet satisfies completely.
Why not have one for the road? Someone is counting on you. It could be your year for Lotto. You haven't seen Europe yet. In fact, you never know what's around the corner. If you need a better answer, you don't understand the question. A message from Bud Dry.
Super duper duper.
Before you buy a compact camcorder, ask.
Will its tapes play in my VCR?
No.
It's got a mini enhancer. Zigzag zoom.
Will its tapes play in my VCR?
No. But
Now this is the Panasonic Palmcorder camcorder.
Will its tapes play in my VCR?
Yes, it's VHS, so its tapes can play in all VHS recorders.
Will its tapes play in my VCR?
It will when it's the Palmcorder from Panasonic.
What's up? The talking elephants our sales force left with yesterday?
Yeah, there's been a little problem. Do we have any that speak elephant? So who's going to get them to all of our salesmen?
One company offers 1030 delivery to more places than anyone and treats them all with mammoth importance.
Presenting Hugo, the talking elephant.
Federal Express, our most important package, is yours.
At Radio Shack this Christmas, you'll find hundreds of great gift ideas. Computers for home or business, stereo systems, speakers, CD players. Even Santa would have to admire our selection of radios, calculators, and electronic clocks. Nearly 60 telephones and over 80 cassette players, Memorex VCRs, and camcorders. And don't forget our top-rated batteries. You'll find it all at Radio Shack, America's technology store.
Welcome back to Schaap Talk with Jim McMahon of the Philadelphia Eagles, who in his 10th NFL season is ranked 4th in the conference in passing. And Jim, we'll take our first phone call from Mark in Detroit. Oh, no, from Eric in Detroit. Go ahead, Eric.
Yes, just wanted to say, first of all, that Jim McMahon is one of my favorites because he just speaks his mind and doesn't really mind what people think, and the sports writers and the media. I just wanted to ask you, what's been your secret? You've had a lot of injuries. What's been your secret of sticking around in the NFL?
Well, I think basically is trying to work through the injuries and trying to keep myself in the best shape I can in the off-season. I know that's contrary to popular belief, but you know, I do work out pretty hard in the off-season. I work out early in the morning so then I can have the rest of the day to play golf, and everybody thinks that's all I do. But I get a good workout in early in the morning and then enjoy the rest of my day.
He also spends time raising his 4 children, 2 of whom just popped up behind him. We'll take our next phone call from Mark in Fort Dodge, Iowa. Mark, go ahead with Jim.
Yes, hi, Jim.
How you doing?
I'd like to ask you, do you miss playing for the Bears?
Well, I miss the guys on the team, that's for sure. I miss, you know, being there for 7 years. You make, you know, great friendships, and I still keep in contact with a lot of the guys that are there. I definitely miss being around them day in and day out, but, you know, I see them in the off-season. I go back to Chicago, that's my home, and I see quite a bit of them when I'm back there.
Jim, could you talk a little bit about your relationships with your different coaches? I mean, start like now with Rich Kotite. Well, how does that work?
I think Rich and I have got a real good relationship. I think we're both on the same page as far as what we want to do offensively. We talk a lot during the game and during the week about, you know, different situations, and you know, I respect the guy a lot. He came in here last year and put a new offense in, and it's done real well for us. And before that, of course, Buddy Ryan. Well, Buddy, I knew Buddy when I was in Chicago, and he's, I tell you, I enjoy the man. I think he's one of the great coaches that have been in this league, and hopefully he'll be back in the league shortly, because you need people like Buddy Ryan around just to keep the media happy. Okay, we have a call now from, I think from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Go ahead.
Yeah, my question's for Jim. Jim, who's your quarterback that ever woke you up during meetings?
What's up, T-Zach?
Well, I'm in the middle.
This is my mystery caller, huh? This is your mystery caller. All right.
This is your life, Jim McMahon.
Jim, you want to? You had a good game yesterday, huh?
Yeah, I had 240 yards passing in the first half.
I should explain that this is Mike Tomczak, who's calling in, and they played together in Chicago.
That was a weak disguise, though, T-Zack.
I got 1,000,001 questions to ask you on the air, so I figured you're the only guy I know that can sleep in meetings and go out and throw for 300 yards on Sunday.
Is he giving away secrets?
As you know, meetings and film watching is overrated. And so, you know, I think, you know, if the coaches do their job and give you the computer printouts, and if you study your game plan, it's not really that hard of a game.
I agree with you. Look at the free safety, right?
That's right. I'll give it away every time.
At the beginning of the season, if anyone had said that at this point you would both be starting quarterbacks, the odds probably would have been against that. Jim, do you have some tips on how Mike can win 3 in a row?
Well, yeah, he's got to have pass protection. I don't know how well they're blocking for you right now, T-Zack. I haven't seen any of your films, but, you know, I know they've got some great talent up there, wide receivers and running backs, and, you know, their defense is better than people think it is, so, you know, T-Zack will get them going.
I think we can let Mike go back to the movies now. He's not watching football movies. I think he's at a movie theater with his family.
Yeah, I'm watching this movie called Cape Fear.
Okay, well, go back to it, and thanks very much for calling in, Mike.
Hey, good luck, Jim.
All right, dude.
Hey.
Let's take another call from Jimmy in Humboldt, Tennessee. Jimmy, go ahead.
Yeah, Jim, I just noticing when you play Chicago, like, you know, you seem like you was more effective when you were scrambling around back there in the pocket. And I guess when you got hurt there the other day a little bit, or 2 or 3 weeks ago, I read something in the paper there that you're just going to kind of go back and just kind of let it all hang out like you used to do. That I believe that's to y'all's advantage. What do you think about that?
Well, right now I'm a little limited in my running abilities. My knee is still not recovered fully from the surgery I had a few weeks ago, and that's really not my strong point anyway. You know, I think I have good quickness to get away from the initial rush, but I'm not going to really outrun anybody. So I just try to use my quickness to avoid somebody and buy myself a little extra time and try to get rid of the football, because I'm not really going to run for 1,000 yards a year.
Jim, the phone call from Mike Tomczak sort of interrupted the line of coaches after Buddy Ryan, and there was a coach before Buddy Ryan whose name I now recall is Mike Ditka. How was the relationship with Ditka?
Well, I think at times it was good, and at other times it wasn't so good. You know, I think we're a lot alike as far as, you know, our competitiveness and wanting to win. And, you know, I told Mike several times I would have loved to play with him. He was a great football player. And I told him that, you know, if he was ever in the huddle with me, he might have a little different understanding of me and what I do in the huddle and what I do on the football field. But our philosophies were very different as far as what we wanted to do with the football.
In what way? Just briefly.
Well, you know, I always try to take advantage of a big play if it presents itself. You know, I wanted to, you know, get the ball in the end zone rather than going, you know, churning out first downs and keeping other people off the field. I was taught that way in college, that, you know, to try to exploit a weakness and get a touchdown, and that's what I wanted to do all the time, and sometimes we didn't agree.
Like the way you beat SMU 46-45 in college.
Well, I didn't agree with the coach that night either.
We're going to take a break now, and we'll be back with Jim McMahon after these messages.
To the iExpress experience. Our qualified, friendly staff and years of experience enable us to take all the risk out of buying eyeglasses. Thorough eye exams by our doctors of optometry. The glasses precision-made in our laboratory in as little as 1 hour. Frame stylists to assist in your selection from thousands of frames, and experienced opticians to assure a comfortable fit. At iExpress, we're so certain of your satisfaction, we guarantee it. iExpress, Lakeland, Winter Haven. Walk-ins welcome.
When it comes to finely crafted furniture in all the styles you love, at prices that are a real treat, there's only one furniture name brand to remember, Bassett Furniture.
Before the Buffaloes roam and the Cougars roar, before fans get crazy and the passes soar. Preview, profile, first and 10. College Game Day, ESPN.
We are back with SchaapTalk, and we have with us Jim McMahon of the Philadelphia Eagles, the 4th-ranked quarterback in the National Football Conference. And we'll take a phone call from Travis in Grants Pass, Oregon. Go ahead, Travis.
Yeah, hi, Jim.
Hello.
I'd like to know, what's the game that you remember most?
Well, that's kind of hard because there's been so many games. You know, I try to forget the games that we played, and I try to concentrate on games that are coming up. I can't forget the Super Bowl, obviously, or the playoff games. I thought those were more fun actually than the Super Bowl was. And there's a lot of games that that you think back on later, but I try to forget them for now until I'm through with football.
I mentioned before that 46-45 game you won from SMU. Could you have imagined that there would be a higher scoring game like the one this week, the 52-52 game?
Well, I heard that score the other morning after the game, and it didn't surprise me any because both teams are able to move the football through the air, and you can get a lot of points that way. That 1985 season, from your point of view, was that as close as you've come to a perfect season? Well, we only lost one that year, and that's as close as I've come. In college, I know we lost one game one year and two the next, but that season everything fell into place. We kept everybody healthy that year. We played great defense. Offensively, we controlled the football, I think, longer than anybody in the league that year and scored more points. So I think our offense really did do its job, and that kept the defense fresh, and they played great. I want to talk more about the Bears, but before I do, we have another phone call from Joe Theismann, who is a friend of yours and a friend of mine. And Joe, I know you have something you want to ask Jim.
Yeah, hi, Jimmy.
How you doing?
Good. Listen, last night when I watched the game, we had a film clip of you, and I noticed you're wearing a tinted visor. Why?
Well, I went to a visor actually when I was in San Diego. We were in Phoenix at the time playing the Cardinals, and I was walking off the field at halftime, and one of the brilliant fans out there threw a bottle in my face, and the bottle shattered. Luckily, nothing got into my eyes, and I came out the second half with the visor on just in case something happened like that. And I wish I would have wore it my whole career, because as you know, light bothers me anyway, and now it's I don't have to be out there squinting on the field.
Does it distort your vision downfield at all? I put one on just to try, and it seems like you're playing out of a car. You're looking out a windshield.
No, really, it hasn't bothered my vision at all. Even when it's raining or when it's cold, it hasn't really gotten too cold here yet to where your breath might fog it up. I'm hoping that won't be the case. But as far as rain or anything else, it doesn't really bother my vision. Hey, Joe, thank you very much for calling in. You could wear 6 visors, and it wouldn't stop you from being articulate.
Thanks, Dick. Jim, stay healthy. Lots of luck.
Okay, thanks.
Enjoy yourself. You wear sunglasses like you're wearing now because of an eye problem.
Right.
Yeah. And so did you have to wear them all the time or wherever you go?
Well, most of the time during the day, I've got sunglasses on. These are actually my prescription glasses. But just any kind of light really bothers my eyes because I have a problem with my eyes dilating, and it's just like anybody who's ever gone to the eye doctor and had their eyes dilated for an exam. Mine's like that all the time, so it's very uncomfortable. It's hard to tell watching you play that you can't see perfectly at all times. We have another call from John in upstate New York. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, how's it going, Jim?
Good.
All right, listen, I see your hair looks pretty short there. Did you get a haircut, or is it just up?
No, it's not short. It's in the tail. Here, can you see it now?
Yeah, it looks a lot better. It suits your image a lot better.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Somebody asked me once if I should grow a ponytail. Would ABC let me grow a ponytail or ESPN? And I said, yes, as long as I don't turn my head. But once you turn your head, they catch you. Going back to the Bears team, when I said perfect before, I didn't mean just in the results. I meant the chemistry, the blend of players. Was it as much fun as it seemed?
Yeah, I think we had a great time. Even when I first got to the Bears in '82, we had fun. You know, we weren't very good. That year we were in a strike. We ended up 3-6. The following year, I think we went 8-8, and we had a blast. And then in '84, we came around and got to the NFC Championship game, and I got hurt in '84. We didn't go to the Super Bowl that year, but the following year everything just came back, and we knew how good we can be, and we just had to prove it to everybody, and we did have a blast. We did a lot of things. A lot of guys did a lot of endorsements, and you know, the team just had fun, and we had fun on the field and off, and it was a great time.
Do you still remember all the lyrics for the Super Bowl Shuffle?
No, that's one thing I regret doing, and I didn't want to do it at the time, and I look back on it now, and it looks dumber and dumber every time I see that.
It wasn't so bad. We won't ask you to do any of it. We will take another break, but first, a reminder. SportsCenter is coming up live at 11:30 Eastern Time. If you can't resist checking in on Monday Night Football, watching those quarterbacks, come back to SportsCenter after the game, and you'll get a complete sports update.
Is from Kodak. It delivers the highest resolution. Microfine grain. Superior image structure. For ultra-sharp detail. It is called Ektar. Ektar Film by Kodak. The genius is in the details. Ektar Film now comes in a new cartonless package in 25, 100, and 1,000 speeds.
Searching for the perfect shave? Let Norelco show you what it's like from the inside. Here, there's a system for a close, comfortable shave that exists in no other razor. Our patented lift and cut system lifts the hair so when it's cut, it can actually drop below skin level without the blades even touching your face. So to look better on the surface, remember, Norelco shaves below the surface. Norelco, we make close, comfortable.
Ground transportation provided by Terry Limousine. Terry in over 300 cities worldwide. Hotel accommodations provided by the Lowe's New York Hotel, conveniently located in the heart of Manhattan.
Welcome back to SchaapTalk. Jim McMahon is with us, the man who led the Chicago Bears to a 15-1 season in 1985 and to the Super Bowl championship. And Jim, what was your reaction the first time you found out William Perry was coming into the backfield with you?
Well, we'd known about it during practice, so you know, we were expecting it and ready for it, and you know, that was fun too. You know, I really can't explain the feeling of handing the ball to William and seeing him go over the line, and it was actually hilarious.
Were you at all in fear that he might eat the football?
No, I wasn't in fear. I was just in fear that he might run into me. And you know, I always told him make sure he runs. I'd you know, kind of point to where he was supposed to go, so there wasn't any problem with that.
He was one of the characters, certainly, of football that year. You were one of the characters. There don't seem to be quite so many characters anymore, the ones who are willing to say whatever they feel. Do you find that to be true?
Well, I think the league's really getting kind of stale. I don't know if it's because of the new regime, but it's, you know, you can't celebrate anymore. You know, you can't, you know, they're talking about your different shoes, and there's really there's no fun anymore. I think I think fans really enjoy going to the game to see people that have a personality, and they don't like to go out there and see a bunch of robots. And I think it's, you know, unless we can start getting back to having a little fun, it's not going to be any fun for the fans.
I agree with you 100%. Can you get a headband that you can fit Tagliabue on? You did Roselle great.
That was a short name.
Do you know how to spell Tagliabue? Never mind. We'll take a phone call from Brian in Greensboro, North Carolina. Go ahead, Brian.
Hey, Jim. How you feeling?
Not too bad.
Well, Jim, the reason why I'm calling is I'm a big Eagles fan, and I think the Eagles have the kind of defense that, you know, they have the best defense right now in the NFL, and how well they perform in the playoffs is going to be obviously how well you're going to be feeling. And my question is, it looks like the Eagles are going to get a wild card berth this year. How far do you think you guys, or how successful do you think you could do in the playoffs this year?
Well, I just hope we get there. You know, right now we got a tough 5-game schedule. You know, we go to Phoenix, and Phoenix beat us the second game of the year. Then we got to go down to Houston on Monday night. Then we got to go to New York, and then we finish up here at home with Dallas and Washington. So, you know, we got a tough road ahead. I'd like to get into the playoffs. You know, we're taking it one game at a time, and like everybody's noticed in the papers and everything else, there's a big bunch of teams that are at 6-5, and one team at 7-4. So there's a whole lot of teams that can end up making it there. So I just hope we're one of them. And I think once we get there, you know, I think we can be okay as long as we're healthy.
Sam in Colorado Springs, we have time for a quick question from you.
Okay, first of all, Mr. Schaap, I really resent your comment yesterday you made about the Denver Broncos because about the, not going to the Super Bowl.
Okay, I apologize. What do you have for Jim?
I was wondering, do you think the current Eagle defense, how does that really compare with that 85 defense the Bears had?
I think they're very similar. They're both aggressive. They were both aggressive defenses. We had great front four on both teams. Linebackers are about the same. I think the secondary that we have here might be a little bit better. But other than that, I think they're very comparable. And, you know, it's great to be on their team. You know, it was great to be on the 85 team, and it's great to be on this team and not having to play against the Eagles.
Okay, we'll take one more break, and then we'll come to say goodnight with Jim McMahon.
With more power than standard cordless screwdrivers and 40 pounds of torque, the Black & Decker Power Driver is more than a match for any job. The Black & Decker Power Driver, one power tool that really pulls its own weight and then some.
The temperature never drops below Xerex. That's very important to remember, especially at a time like this, when it's very deserted and very cold. Ah, you did remember Xerex Antifreeze. The temperature never drops below Xerex.
Who can you trust these days to take care of your car when it starts shaking?
Or pulling, or rattling.
Or squeaking.
For suspension or alignment, nobody beats Midas.
I worry about something I can't see.
What your eyes can't see, our state-of-the-art diagnostic equipment will show you. You'll get a written estimate before we start. No surprises. Whatever the problem, we keep it from getting bigger. For alignment, shocks, or struts, nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
'Twas the month of December on ESPN, with bowl game excitement on which to depend. Sunday night kickouts with passing and blitzing and backhands and baskets you shouldn't be missing. Olympiad moments, fists full of lead, while visions of birdies dance in their heads. Sports Center and more from beginning to end. 'Tis the month of December on ESPN.
SchaapTalk is brought to you by Norelco. Norelco lift and cut shavers for a new level of closeness and comfort.
Welcome back to SchaapTalk with Jim McMahon of the Philadelphia Eagles. And Jim, next season, if Randall comes back healthy, presumably, you know, he'll be the starting quarterback. How frustrating would that be to have to go back to the bench?
Well, I'll worry about that when it comes. I just want to finish out this year, and I've only signed a one-year contract with the Eagles, so you know, I just like to finish out the season and see what happens. You said there's a lot of quarterbacks that have gone down this year, and there are teams in need of quarterbacks, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Thank you very much for being with us tonight. Go rest your arm, your elbow, your leg. Have a good week this week.
All right, thanks, Dick.
And thanks to all our viewers and our callers. I hope you'll join Robin Roberts and me Sunday morning for 2 hours of Sunday Sports Day. And next Monday, come back to SchaapTalk. Our guest will be the future Hall of Fame defensive back, Ronnie Lott of the Los Angeles Raiders. Good night.
Travel provided by Continental. One airline can make a difference. What's the difference? For unrestricted coach, a first...